Eugene is next.
All right, I'm switching sides just to keep things interesting.
Mess with the media team.
I'll look
There you go.
at you guys. Yeah. Ooh, nice to meet you, man.
So Eugene from Funnel Junkies.
What was it?
Funnel Junkies.
Funnel Junkies.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Cool. So we've got a SaaS agency, high level, white label. We run one-day workshops, and then from there we found it like difficult to sign up just the software, so we built like an offer with like a 3-day scaling workshop type of thing.
Okay.
So my questions is a lot more focused around actions, beliefs, focus, those type of things. And I think looking back at my life before I discovered Alex content, focus very dispersed. Like you see everyone running all these different businesses, and you think the way to start scaling is just opening up more businesses, more revenue streams, and obviously found that other way around. So my first question, with coming up with a question, so I wrote down a bunch of questions, and it really sucked. Because when you look at the questions and you start writing the questions, I'm like, yeah, Alex is just going to say do more. You already know the answer. So the question is related to me and to our community. With all this content available, and just by asking the right questions, you already kind of get the answers. So if all this information's already available, why are entrepreneurs not scaling? Why are they still stuck at like under $1 million? I think I was at the scaling workshop and they said 95% of entrepreneurs are stuck under $1 million.
Yeah.
So why are they getting stuck in that space when everything is available?
I'd say at the most basic level, it's because of an inability to delay gratification. And so if we just think about like why do humans do things in general, it's because they've been rewarded more for doing what they're currently doing rather than changing what they're doing. And I think that makes sense from an evolutionary perspective, that like more of what you're currently doing is safe. And so people, once they find another point of equilibrium, it's very difficult for them to break out of that. Even if they're, quote, like mentally like I really wish I could scale, they want to scale, but what they really want is to do what they're currently doing, which is why they're doing it. And so I think being able to clearly articulate also like the action. So a lot of it I do think is like, so how is just like such a simple word. It's a short word, but has a lot of like depth to it, which is if I were to talk to a toddler and say, I want you to scale a business, they would just look at you like, what? Yeah. If you were to tell me, hey, can you scale this business? I'd probably say, yeah, I can. And so the skill, the specificity of a request is inversely correlated with the skill of the recipient. Meaning, if you have somebody who has very low skills, I have to say like, okay, here's how you turn on a computer. Once you turn on a computer, then you're going to open up Safari. What's Safari? It's an internet browser. What's the internet? Okay, let's explain what the internet is, right? And then eventually you're like, okay, we're going to go to Google. What's a Google? We'll get there. Don't worry. We go to Google. Okay, finally, we're going to sign up here. You're going to get an email. Once you have an email, I don't know how to type. Great, let me teach you how to type. And so the thing is like the lower the skill level of the individual, the more aggregate skills they have to learn in order to chunk up. And so sometimes people hear the word, oh, you just need to do outreach. But that is a bundled term that has 100 things underneath of it, which is like, how do I warm up a domain? How do I set, what's an opener? How do I integrate my, Klaviyo with my whatever, right? Like, how do I integrate these tools? And so there's 100 hows underneath of it. And they'll usually get stuck on one of the hows and being unwilling to try because it's so frustrating of like, I think what makes entrepreneurship feel slow is that you can try to learn something for a day and not have an outcome and then have to come back to it tomorrow. And figuring things out is by nature a wandering activity, which means that if you knew how to figure it out, then you wouldn't have to figure it out because you'd already know it. And so people do really poorly with uncertainty. And so entrepreneurship, a lot of it is just the ability to tolerate uncertainty, which feels very painful the entire time you're in the uncertain period, which is what I honestly think a lot of the pain of entrepreneurship is, wondering whether the investment you're currently making today, the thing you know you're going to lose, the money, the time, the effort, the sweat, is going to actually pay off to the thing that you hope is going to happen and you don't know when it's going to happen. And so it's almost like if you run a marathon, you know it ends at 26 miles or 0.2, I don't know, for you runners. But like for entrepreneurship, it's just someone saying run. Yeah. And like, I'll tell you when to stop. And even if you like, just that idea almost sounds torturous of like, just run. It's like, well, how long? It's like, run. It's like, but what if my lungs start hurting? Run. Keep running. And I think that's what makes a lot of entrepreneurship painful. And then the idea of, even me saying this, some of you guys probably had your heart rates go up, right? Even the idea of not knowing when something is going to end, or in other words, when you're going to figure it out. A lot of people just don't want to start that race. And so they know what they're currently doing, and they get more rewarded for talking about scaling, for talking about their goals, than they do for pursuing them, which involves a lot of uncertainty, pain and frustration. Yeah. That's my best answer for why don't people do stuff.
Yeah, it's a reflection of myself as well, because you kind of you see things and you get the content, and then a month later you're like, I haven't done this yet.
Yeah.
Like, what is kind of that stuff?
The next one is the blocker, which is super common, right? Which is, with Frank, right? We're talking earlier. Okay, how does he can't scale? He knows he wants to scale, and he already has the how. He knows how to run ads. He knows that if he does it, it overwhelms the business. So then, what's blocking him from doing that? 80% of his time is being taken up by these two activities. Okay, so then what's blocking him from solving that? He needs 2 people. What's blocking him from getting 2 people? He has to know how to do outreach or how to hire VAs and then train those VAs to be proficient. And so some element of that he might not know how to do. And so some of you guys might be stuck in like, I just really need an X, but the thing is you just don't know the next how, which is, okay, well, how do I attract an X? How do I recruit an X? And then that becomes the thing that you have to now figure out, which is the like, run.
I actually think of that quote from Chris Williamson: thinking about the thing is not doing the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and also something from you is doing the hard things.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing that I shifted away from. As soon as you get hard,
I'll take full credit for doing the hard things as me. Yeah. I know you're
so there's a myriad of different hard things that we need to look at, and delivery, attraction, conversion, referral, etc., going through the loop.
Yeah.
As the CEO and the key allocator of resources at $1 million, what is the hard thing going from $1 million to 10 million, for example? What is the hard thing for the entrepreneur or the CEO on that business that they should double down on?
So I always would love to say, like, this is the 4-step path to, going from 1 million to 10 million. But the reality is that every business is different, which sucks to say because everyone's like, well, obviously it depends. But it's like, yeah, it does depend. Because if you're a software company and you're doing $1 million in ARR and you're compounding at X rate, you will have a different constraint than a restaurant. The restaurant might never be able to get to 10 million unless it opens new locations. The 4 walls might not be able to fit it. If you're a home services business, you might need more trucks. If you're in the gym business, maybe it's like you need more marketing. Like, it'll depend, because this is why it's so important to be like, what is the constraint? Like, what is the thing that's limiting us? Like, because at the end of the day, like, businesses only grow by getting more customers or making them worth more, period. That's it. Sell more units, make the units worth more. And so if those are the only 2 things that grow a business, then we just have to answer the question of like, why can't we do that? And the thing that limits you will differ depending on the business, and the revenue matters significantly less. Now, when I make scaling roadmap, I do my best to put things into generalized buckets. But by and large, it's just what stops us from doing the activity. And in a world of AI, where you have, significantly more returns per unit of human capital, like, even the operational stuff's going to almost go out the window in terms of scaling. Like, scaling from 10 people to 100 people, these things will occur because this is just because there's human limitations. And so we know where humans will break. And so that will be very predictable. But whether you have a 100-person company that's doing 10 million a year, a 100-person company doing $1 billion a year, that's where the revenue levels get really screwy. And so to answer the original question of like, how do you go from 10 to 100, is that you focus on the constraint and then you ignore everything else that is not the constraint.
Okay. So on that, and for myself as well, and a lot of people that I work with, is having all these different businesses, all these different products, like, it's overcomplicated. And one of the things is focus.
Yeah.
Focus is also eliminating distractions. So I read somewhere or saw one of the videos where you had the chiropractor business and you had all the different entities. And I'm kind of stuck in that space, and there's kind of this fear because there's multiple businesses doing multiple same revenue.
That you own?
Yeah, on my business.
Well, you have, okay, let's make sure that they're different businesses. Okay, do they serve different avatars?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
so you
totally
really have
different
businesses.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the
Frank, what should
technician,
we tell him?
technician becomes the kind of business. So I started off in IT services, which I just knew how to do.
Art services?
IT.
Okay, got it.
Managed IT.
Yeah.
And through that, progressed into the software marketing, etc. and I've been stuck in that space where I know I need to focus on the one, yet there's different revenue streams. So what would be kind of your advice for someone stuck in that space where everything's generating revenue and paying for expenses? So to focus, we need to eliminate all these other distractions.
Yeah. Well, what stops you from eliminating the distraction?
I think the fear is from a expense perspective.
Yeah.
Because there's multiple teams, big offices, etc.
I'm gonna poke. So you've got this revenue, and you've got these expenses associated with that revenue. Yeah. If we were to eliminate the business, then those people would go away, the cost would go away, and the revenue would go away, right?
Yeah. So some of the expenses would stay.
Okay.
For example, office like this.
Okay. So you have some fixed costs. Yeah. Okay. So is it that if you got rid of the profit that those business units generate, you would not be able to pay for the office space that you're in?
Yeah, all the other expenses, the communal expenses.
Okay, so you would go negative.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So we want to eliminate these other units from taking up bandwidth. So what's the revenue level of each of the three businesses?
So each of...
Are they all Go high level white labelers?
No. So
they're all
the one business is the high level white label.
Okay.
The other business managed IT services, so I still have it.
What services?
IT.
Oh, IT. Sorry, my bad.
Sorry, the
IT
accent.
services. Okay. And then what's the third one?
Third one is retail, selling computers.
Okay. So they're somewhat related, right? I mean, like they're somewhat related. So you've got, we sell computers, and then once people buy computers, they need IT services to service those computers, and then they need software services to service the...
To manage the business,
right.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing the business doesn't actually work that way, though.
It does. It works.
So people
like
come
that.
in the front door and then get both of the other ones?
Yeah. So we've got upsells through the other ones, and from the software side, we're like, well, you need laptops for your PC or for your business, so buy the laptops.
So is there one front door or three?
One.
Okay. So this is what I wanted to it's like you might not have. So when I asked originally, like, are they the same avatar or not? If it is the same avatar, then it means you're selling three things to one person, right? So I wouldn't see these as three different businesses. I would see this as different product lines within a business. That's far more okay.
Yeah.
If you were like, I thought you originally said I sell to artists. I was like, that is way out there. Okay, what are we doing? Right. But what really matters is what is the degree of operational change that has to occur between the businesses, which really just means like what does each of the additional businesses change about what you do? And so just like everything always boils down to like, what does this change about my life? The reason, like, there's not an actual like physics limitation. Like I preach focus mostly because 99% of entrepreneurs already are scattered, already are pursuing too many things, are too resource constrained to do anything more than one thing well. It's not that like, and someone's like, well, Elon Musk has 6. And I'm like, yeah. And if you're an alien and happen to have built the number 1, number 2, number 5, and number 10 most valuable private companies in the world, if you happen to have done that, then yes, you can do it. But you probably wouldn't be asking the question if you were Elon. And so not you, but like anyone.
Yeah.
And so this is true 99% of the time, and you're probably not the 1%. But like, not you, again, everyone. But I just get down to like, is this a distraction based on how much this changes about what I do? So with Frank's example with the affiliate thing, if all we have to do is on the call, they're already going to sign up for the software, and all we do is make sure that they click our link to sign up for the software, that is very little operational risk for us to add another revenue stream. That to me is not Frank has 2 businesses. That is Frank has another way of making money, which great.
Okay.
If you were like, I have 2 marketing, campaigns that are going on, advertising to 2 different avatars, 2 different sales teams selling different things, that is when it's just too much to take on for most people. And most small businesses are resource constrained in that they are talent constrained. You make too little money to attract high level talent, because let's say you're making $1 million a year. If you make $1 million a year and let's say you run 20% margins, you have $200,000 to take home. A person who can actually grow another business from scratch costs more than $200,000 a year. And so this is why focus is so important. It's not because it's somehow physics limits us from doing more opportunities, but economics tends to, because unless you raise lots of capital and you use outsized money, which artificially allows you to hire way above your ahead of your skis. You can hire at your $10 million level talent at day one, which is why a lot of them do it, because it is faster in different ways. You incur different debt. You incur financial debt rather than talent debt. But if you're bootstrapped, we almost are always paying down talent debt. And so I focus because we have to get the business to a point where there's enough profit that we can then say, like today, acquisition.com, we have multiple revenue streams. So if somebody could say, hey, Alex, I thought you said to focus, but you have school and you also have acquisition.com and the advisory practice. You also have the portfolio companies. You also have the venture studio, right? We have all these different things. We also have our real estate portfolio, which is huge. How it was like, well, I'm not running. Like I have a general partner who runs our venture studio. I haven't taken a single call. I don't even write the checks. I don't even sign off on the checks. I just say, here's your budget. You can do $2 million a year into these venture bets. Call me later. Make sure they're good. On the real estate side, I have partners that we work with all the time on the real estate side. Now those ones are, they're big deals. Each one's usually 50, 60 million bucks each that we buy. And so like, I'm going to be heavily involved in that process. But at the same time, like I'm not looking after the tenants. If there's fix-its, I'm not the one who's fixing it. And the same thing with the private equity portfolio. Like school, Sam runs school. I promote it. But the thing is, what does it change about what I do? Well, am I going to stop making videos? No. So only thing that me being able to invest in the scale school did for me is that I just added another link on my YouTube and on my bio. That was the only thing that changed for me. Now, it created a huge increase in wealth, but the activities changed very little. And so when I think about like whether something's a distraction or not, is what does it change about my behavior? And so if you can get down to that, then you can see whether or not something's truly a distraction. And so if your business has 3 product lines, you can have 100 product lines. If what you do every day stays the same, then it's fine. It's just that most times these new things require star level talent. And when you're sub 10 million, especially, most of the star level talent is you, which absolutely does change what you do every day, which is why it becomes a distraction. That was a long-winded answer, but did that make sense? Okay, cool.
Awesome. So then just
I think that was one of my better explanations for focus. Sorry.
Really made sense for me, and a lot of clarity on it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. So just a personal question for me. We've got, on my business specifically, so we run ads to a one-day workshop, cheap, like $20, 1,000 people in the workshop, upsell to a 3-day scaling workshop, in person.
You get 1,000 people?
In person, yeah.
Amazing. Wait, how many are you running?
We do it once a month in Johannesburg, once a month in Cape Town.
Oh, super cool, man. Rocking.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you charge for the event?
So we charge $20 for a ticket.
Okay.
Just so there's...
What are show rates?
95%.
Dude, Germans, man.
Yeah.
90, they're like, we said we'd be there. We'd there.
Yeah. South
I put it on the calendar,
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then we upsell into the 3-day scaling workshop, which also includes a SaaS, and that's where our continuity is. After the $100 million book launch, we launch our own affiliate program, where we recruited affiliates, part of the core 4, other side, so recruit affiliates to then sell the SaaS products. And we run webinars for that. So we get we've only run 2 webinars, and maybe 6,000 or 7,000 registrations, about 1,000 show up, and then about 150 that signed up as an affiliate. We charge them as an affiliate $50 a month just to be an affiliate. Now, my question is from an area of focus. We've got the events that's working really well, and we've been doing that for about a year. LTV to CAC of 7. On the affiliate side, we've got an LTV to CAC within 30 days of 3, and within a 12-month, because I signed a 12-month contract, of 30.
30?
Yeah. So we've got a 25% show-up rate and then a 20% purchase rate on the webinar. So if that was your business, what would you focus on? Would you drop the events and just focus on the other stuff? Would you do a combination of both?
So, no, I wouldn't drop the events. So here's a different frame of thinking about it. If I said, hey, I've got a portfolio of investments. This one's going to 7x. This one's going to 30x. I would be like, can I have both?
Okay.
Right. And also, you have something that's already working, and so I don't want to break. Like that's the bread and butter of the business. I will not sacrifice the base. It's super risky to sacrifice the core thing. You also have been doing this that long. Like maybe the economics change. Maybe the way that you acquire. So I wouldn't mess with that. I think what you need is what are margins and what's absolute profit right now per year? between all three?
Between the three different businesses or the
Well, let's say it's one business that has three product lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in total, then, because this product line does about $1 million, the other one also does about $1 million, the other one does about 600. The retail does 600,000. 600,000.
Okay.
A year.
Yeah. So you're at 2.6, and then what are margins on 2.6?
Margins on the managed services sides and the retail about 10%. On the SaaS products about 30.
Okay, so let's just say you're making 500-ish.
Yep.
Okay, so you're right at that edge. So by the way, the reason we call the swamp, which is 1 to 3 million, 1 to 4 million-ish, is because of the issue I was mentioning earlier, which is that if your business is running 20, 30% margins and you're doing $2 million a year, you've got $400,000, $300,000, $500,000 in profit. It's right at the point where you need another leader. The problem is the bet that you have to make relative to the net profit of the business is so large, and that's why it's so painful. And so basically, it's the swamp because you pick between two kind of impossible choices. So option one, you give away half your profit, and you hope this person works out. The alternative is that you kill yourself trying to scale from 3 to 10, just using your own wits and sweat. Both of those suck, but you have to pick one.
Choose your odd.
Right. Yeah. You kind of do. I think that the affiliate thing, if you're getting 30 to 1, that's super compelling, especially if you're liquidating acquisition costs within the first 30 days or so, which you are. So then it looks at like which one of these is more operationally scalable. The numbers sound low though, because if you said you were doing 1,000-person event 2 times a month,
yeah. So
you have 24,000 people that are coming to like get business stuff from you, and you're doing 2.6 million.
We are up to 1,000 now in the last 2 or 3 months. Before that, we're doing between 150 to 400.
Okay. Okay, so you scaled that up.
Yeah,
so do you have like a venue that you go to and you do the whole thing at?
Yeah, we've got an office similar to this, so we run it at our own office.
Got it. But 1,000 people? This is 100.
Yeah, we've got a big space.
Okay, so cool. Yeah. I mean, if you have 24,000 people, you should be at a lot more revenue. So for me, I'm like, I want to look at the sales stuff. What's going on there. Like lead costs are obviously fine. To me, there's a sales motion issue. Yeah, that's like the real big constraint.
Yeah.
Can you take on more customers right now?
Yeah. Especially on the affiliate side, because that's completely automated. I don't spend any time. I literally just run the webinar.
I think right now you have a massive sales constraint.
Yeah. Which leads me to another question around sales. So I tended to...
what percentage of the audience do you close?
In person, 30%. Online, 15%.
Okay, so let's say you 15. Get 300 qualified leads to the next thing. How much does the scaling workshop cost?
It's $500.
Okay, so it's 500. Of the people at the 500, what percentage of those do you close?
About 25 to 30%.
Okay, so call it, you close 9% of the 1,000. So you're closing 100 customers at each of these 1,000-person events.
Yeah, about 100.
So 300, and then 25% of the 300, whatever, so 7%. So 7% of the 1,000 end up buying the ultimate thing.
Yeah.
All right, so what's the price point of the ultimate thing?
That is, sorry, just have to convert it, is 45,000 Rand, so it's about $3,000.
Total?
Yeah, for like a 3-month coaching program.
For 3 months.
And then there's the SaaS side. So $500 a month for the SaaS with CRM, AR dollars, etc., which is the continuity offer.
So you should be scaling really fast right now.
Yeah, especially the last 3 months, we like increasing quite significantly.
Right? Because if you're closing 70 people a month at $1,000 or $1,500 a month each, you should be adding over $1 million in ARR every month.
Yeah, so that's where we're moving towards.
We should do that.
Yeah.
So what stops you from continuing to do that? Let's hope it's nothing. That's the best.
Yeah, there isn't much constraint. The biggest constraint is just venues. Difficult to find. Yeah, there's only about 4 venues that can host 1,000 people or more in South Africa.
Okay. I thought it was German. My bad.
Cool. One last question is, if I have to...
Yeah. So, but earlier you said that you were doing it at your office. You're not. You are doing it at a venue.
Yeah. So we've got different venues. We do Pretoria, Joburg, Cape Town,
Okay.
etc.
Got it. if you were to just continue doing the 1,000 people a month and closing these numbers for 12 months, how big is the business?
Based on our current stuff, we'll probably add about 5 to 6 million on.
Yeah, so triple for the year. It's not
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Okay. So what stops you from just not messing with anything that you're currently doing and just allowing the triple to occur?
Nothing. That is
Yeah, we
our
should not do
roadmap.
anything.
It's just double.
Yeah. No, I'm being, dude, like,
Yeah.
more people destroy their success because they just don't know how to handle it than like the only thing that can get in the way of this, it's already working, is you.
Yeah.
So just don't break it.
Yeah.
Like you're getting 7 to
Stay
1 and 30
focused.
to 1.
Yeah.
Like just don't let anything stop you from that.
Yep.
That's it. Like sometimes the most productive thing you can do. I'll tell you a story. I was talking to a friend of mine. He just inherited $1 billion. His father's in private equity. He now manages their family office. And so I was talking to him about acquisition.com and school and some of the other things. And he was like, yeah, man. He said, sometimes the most profitable thing you can do is wait. And so I think that that might be the most profitable thing you can do. Like doing nothing is something. It's an action. I mean, shit. I mean, how much willpower does it take to not start new things? A lot.
A lot.
Right. And so I think you should give yourself credit for like, you're banking goodwill with the business. Jeff Bezos had a speech recently that he did in Italy. Some of you guys, I shared a story of it for those who follow me on Instagram. But he talked about his rate of releasing the work. And so basically he said, if I had 30 minutes, I could write 100 ideas on the whiteboard that would destroy my company. And so you absolutely have enough ideas to kill your business. So what we want to do is prevent that from happening. And so this is super tactical, but for everybody, because this is like really, 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 really dramatically changed my trajectory as an entrepreneur. I have a lot of ideas, which is like I kind of scratch my itch of ideas because I get to idea about other people's businesses, and then I go home, and then Layla's like, "Do you want dinner?" And I'm like, "Yeah," but I forgot that we have a business too, so I wasn't allowed. I didn't have a way to mess that one up, right? And so what I do is I honestly have a document that's called Alex's Big List of Ideas. And every time I have an idea, I totally flush it out. I put a link on the doc to another doc that has a big memo that has like, this is how it would work, this is what we'd make, this is how blah, 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 blah. And then I keep living my life. And then when I finally see the team, looks like they have smiles on their faces, like they're well rested, they have a glint in their eye, then I pull back out my big list of ideas. And what's interesting is that like some of the ideas that I'm like, this is going to be huge. I'm like, that's retarded. Why would I think that's a good idea? Because you get so emotionally charged and sold on the idea while you're in the process of the idea, in the throes of the idea. But when you get a little bit of space, you're like, oh my God, this is how other people would hear this idea. And I agree with them. I think it's a terrible idea. But every once in a while, I'll give you an analogy from the Sandra Bullock movie with the offensive lineman. Remember that one? Blindside. So she said that, I actually think about this a lot with ideas. She said, if you like a shirt, she's like, don't buy it. But if you go home and you're still thinking about it, a week or two later, like you should probably go back and grab the shirt or whatever, right? And so I think about that with ideas. Like if I'm able to, like I have this fear, what if I forget the idea? If I forget the idea, it wasn't that good of an idea. But the ones that like keep you up at night, that keep gnawing at you, those are the ones that like I'll flesh out more and more and more, but I still have to release the work at a rate that the business can handle. And so then it gives you respect for the output capacity of the business. And then what ends up happening, which you realize as you scale up, is that manpower is almost always the limiter. It's talent. Which is why you see the billionaires on stage and they're like, guys, you just got to get a good team, find good people and get out of their way. But the issue is that good people don't want to work for you, not you, entrepreneurs in general. And so that's why we have to go through this kind of bootstrap phase sometimes where we have to prove that we can earn the right to get true A-level talent. Because if you had the best AI person in the entire world, you could have a multi-billion-dollar company within the next 6 months. The problem is that guy doesn't want to work for you. And so it's like, who do I need to become and what do I need to build in order to get that level of talent to come with me? And so we actually in my opinion, a lot of the entrepreneurial journey is creating the proof that then allows you to attract the talent that's required to build the next thing. Like the level of talent we were able to attract after we sold Gym Launch versus while we were scaling Gym Launch, night and day, not even close. And so I see that as the trajectory. And what also ends up happening is that you end up becoming a collector of talent. And so and if you do right by people throughout the entire process, what happens is the stars stay around and they come with you from thing to thing. And so all of a sudden the bench of stars just keeps getting bigger, and they don't want to work with other people because they like, we have a great team, we have a great culture, we know how we do things here. And so in the beginning of your career, you have no stars. You're the only star. And maybe you're a half star, right? But eventually you'll get one other star and you're like, oh my God. But the reality is like, if everyone thought like, man, if I only had 10 of these people, I could be 20 times bigger. You will get there. It's just it takes way more not stars that you thought were stars that you then have to fire and replace with another person that's also not a star to get another person to then replace with another person that's not a star. And I fundamentally believe that the reason that you can scale so much faster the second time or third time around, who here this is not their first business? Can you raise your hand real quick? Okay, cool. Keep your hands raised. If this is not your first business and this business you scaled faster than the businesses you did before, keep your hand raised. Right? And like, why is that? It's not like the physics of business changed. It's just because your pattern recognition improves. And in order to get the pattern recognition, it's like you have to just get punched in the face a bunch of times with shitty people. And so like, for me, like I know a vertical stack of what a sales-driven org looks like up to a few hundred sales guys. Like I know what that stack looks like. I know what an SDR looks like. I know what an SDR manager looks like. I know what a closer looks like. I know what a closer manager looks like. I know what a director of sales looks like. I know what a VP of sales looks like. And they have different archetypes and they have different skills and they have different behaviors. But if you've never done it, then you hire a VP of sales and he sucks. And you hire another VP of sales and he sucks. You hire another VP of sales and she sucks. And then all of a sudden one comes in and you're like, oh, you don't suck. This is amazing. And then from that point going forward, either that person comes with you or you know exactly how to pattern match. And so you find the person really fast. And fundamentally, every level of the business, it's kind of like bricks, right? You like keep putting these level of bricks as you scale. The problem is that only one of those bricks prevents you, and sometimes for years, because you are lacking this hole and you don't know what it looks like when it's right. And that's one of the big issues. And so the goal is like, how can I be willing to have a hard conversation, which means that I might like this person as a person, but they're not doing their job. And how quickly can I close that gap so that I can replace them with somebody who's good? The hard part is that we don't like having hard conversations. Yeah. And so it's like, I mean, I do like the quote, like the difference between where you are and where you want to be is the number of hard conversations you're willing to endure. Yeah. And a lot of people just aren't. So to answer the original question of like, why don't people do what they want to do? A lot of them just can't have a hard conversation.
Awesome, thanks. My time's up. It sounds like my dating life, that lost analogy.
Pattern recognition, dude.
Cool. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
It's like you find your first wife, and then you're like, oh, this is the first. This is what it looks like, and then you get a second wife, and then you go.